Everything bad out of the way first. Welcome to Section 31, episode number 378. I'm Dan Hammond.
And I am Rogue Schindler.
This week, we've caught up, so we're going to talk about single episodes of the Orville and Discovery. We've got a Masters tournament coming up. I've been sending out regional tournament kits and Masters kits. They look fantastic. And I've still been playing this Fleet Commander game, so we can talk about that too. What do you want to start with? You want to start with the shows?
That seems like a good place to start.
Okay. There are two shows. One of them I felt was interesting and somewhat more of the same, and one of them was
what?
Yeah, a bit of that. So we'll get spoiler. You want to do Discovery first?
Sure. Since I'm guessing that is the lesser of the two, according to your description. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little not disappointing. Like, I don't know. I liked that the short, led into it. It gave us some good backstory that we didn't necessarily need, but it was cool to have coming into this episode. I just wasn't dazzled by the story. I think I kind of got a little bit of Attack of the Clones syndrome in that about halfway through, I had what I thought was a really cool theory, and then I got really disappointed when that was not it.
Sure. Yeah, I understand. What was the theory that did not come to pass?
I thought that what was the other race? The Bosa? The Bossa Nova?
Yeah, the Baul.
The Baul. I was really hoping the Kelpian evolution was the Baul.
See, that seemed to be the obvious thing. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, they turned into that, and that's why they're keeping them down. That's the whole, they're
not actually killing them when they're doing the balance thing. They get
promoted.
It looks like it, but they just beam them up and join the the next level or whatever.
Yeah, I guess maybe that wouldn't have been nefarious enough, right?
Maybe.
It certainly isn't the first story where one group is technologically advanced and keeping another group from getting past some technology or some advancement point or some evolutionary point, right, so that they don't become greater than the people with technology. But you're right. It could have gone a couple of different ways. This is an interesting way. It isn't perhaps the most interesting way it could have gone, but still.
Yeah. I liked the concept that, they were the prey and the others were the predators, and, they got so close to extinction that they, had to turn around and were like, never again,
sure,
taken to an illogical extreme, as always. I don't know. I kind of felt like we had another instance of Deus Ex Supersphere. Hey, look, we've got all of this data. Let's analyze it and make incredible leaps in logic to, causation. Correlation is not causation. And, these were like, hey, look, we have this incredible theory that kind of fits the information that we have. Let's assume that is very, for a science vessel, non-scientific.
I wonder how long that, font of knowledge is going to be pilfered. Is it going to be, something they're going to keep calling back on? Hey, we need to have information that we shouldn't normally have. Hey, there was that sphere thing. Has that part been decoded yet?
I don't know. Like, maybe that's their, they can't use the spore drive, so they need something else to make Discovery extra special. I don't know. Like, on the whole, I enjoyed watching it. It was fine. It was an interesting episode. It was cool little evolutionary defense mechanism that Saru has now. I continue to really enjoy Mike.
Certainly, yeah.
Just, he's really, I really like him. Yeah, speaking of Deus Ex Machina, I'm also, I don't know, I'm hoping we're getting a little more information on the Red Angel, because this seems like a very, again, non-scientific story thread to be chasing down. I did like that they were like, oh, well, now that we've seen, we've had Saru see it with his super hyper interesting, fantastical eyeballs. It's like a person in a suit. Like, oh, okay, so Iron Man is popping around and
Yeah.
using his post end game powers to set right what's wrong. That was the other thing that I felt like it kind of got pushed one too many times at the beginning of this episode. It's like it's getting very quantum leapy, and this is the wrong captain for that. It's very much like, oh, the red thing appeared here because we have to set right what went wrong. Honestly, that was not my first thought. My first thought was like the Cutie map is sending, Cutie Pike and Cutie Burnham over here because that's the mechanism they're using in the season I'm watching with R right now in My Little Pony. But it's very much a higher, hand wavy thing is sending people to certain places to set right what once went wrong.
Yeah, sure. it's very it's like a D&D campaign, right?
Yeah, it's like, well, and the thing is, like, Star Trek doesn't need that. Like, that's what they do. They wander around setting right what once went wrong. So
yeah,
it's like, why do we need this bizarro Red Angel? But according to the preview, we should, at long last, get some glimpse of Spock next week.
That's right. If you trust the preview, which I'm leaning toward not, but it is first time since the opener, right, where we've the preview for the season that we've seen the actual Spock. If he shows up, it's going to be in the last 20 seconds.
I was just going to say that it's going to be just like Unification, where they pimped it for weeks and weeks. It's like Spock is going to be in this all new Star Trek The Next Generation. And it's literally, he walks out of the shadows in the last 10 seconds. And it made me laugh as you were talking about that, because it's also Spock.
That's right. It's the same character. That's what he does. he pumps up ratings and he shows up at the end. Very good. All in all, it was an interesting science fiction-y, story. We got him to, and as you said, led back into the I want to say Tales, space jumps. What was it? Space hack. What's the name of the short treks? Right.
Short treks.
Led into it. It led into that. It called back to that. We got the same. His sister was there, and they did the thing that happened to him using their technology. That was fun. And came out of the water. And do you think this was supposed to be a proto Armus looking guy?
I did. I thought the same thing. I'm glad that you got there as well. I was like, because we never got any background from that ever again.
Maybe so.
Which could be interesting.
I think the whole point of Armus was something about their homeworld cast off all the evil, and it was in him, and that was it. Maybe there's only going to be one of them left, and they've sent him off to some random planet. I don't know.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, I did like that they. I did not expect them to be just like, and everybody evolves right now. Like, I was like, oh, okay, he's got to get the word out, and they got to go village to village or whatever, and it's going to be this long task, and his sister's going to, oh no, okay, no, everybody's, we're all right.
In a complete opposite to everything else about this season, where everything's being dragged out.
Yeah.
Boom, everyone's done. Boom, now you can shoot spikes out of your ears, apparently. Or teeth, or whatever that was.
Yeah.
Didn't they say it looked like it evolved into teeth, and now it just, do they grow back? Is he going to be able to shoot more teeth?
Well, they were like, it seemed like they were growing.
Yeah.
So maybe he can grow new ones. It would be kind of lame to blow his wad shooting all that at the force field and then never have them again.
Yeah. As far as character arcs go, that's certainly a big change. I mean, he went from, fear ruins my life to now I'm taking over and I can shoot things out of my brain.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I did like how they reflected that in his behavior too, because clearly, he's like, I am without fear. And you're like, oh, that's cool. He doesn't have to be afraid all the time. But that's also, where all of your filters come from.
Exactly.
It's not just etiquette, but it's also, fear of stepping out of line and fear of, overstepping your bounds and, and offending people or offending the captain or whatever. And he was just like, nope, no F's given. Saru is in the house and he is, taking names. So that'll be something new for him it feels like a very Data thing for him to have to go through.
Sure.
Adjusting to new personality.
And everyone adjusting around him. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got another episode called Light and Shadows next in a couple of days. Not the Jonathan Frakes episode. I'm looking at that. That's going to be mid-March. But if something happens and we see Spock this episode, I'm looking forward to it. That's for sure. All right. I'm going to close up this wiki tab and go to this wiki tab. So the Orville.
Wow.
Yikes. That kind of took a turn.
It did. Like an abrupt and in many ways an abrupt turn in pacing. I was like, man, this is a really slow episode. And kind of uninteresting. And then
so the the end point of Terminator 2, I guess, right? All the people are dead and the robots are in charge now. I thought that the fact that this was not the season finale was awesome, right?
Yeah. I know you mentioned it coming in last week that we were going to have a 2-parter, and I was like, "Is this you mean just the first of the 2-parter, and this is the season finale?" Because that's, oh no, we're going to keep going. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we don't have to wait however long it would be for the next one, because, yikes, the launch of all those sphere things and the red-eyed droids taking over the ship, and
oh my god, I love their little eyeball machine cannons.
Yeah, someone it's head cannon.
How did you get to that and I did not?
Because I picked it up from Reddit. Someone else got it for me.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
So if you haven't seen the episode, they got to take Isaac home, and because he turned off, and when they wake him back up, they say, "You know what? Your job done. We're going to think about these humans for a bit." And at the end, they make their decision. The decision is all along has not been whether or not to join the Union. It's whether or not to exterminate them. Apparently. So, which there's a lot of questions. I mean, so you've got this super high powerful robot guy who you're trying to court as a member into your guild of planets, right? Your union.
Right.
So you don't put him on the flagship, you put him on this ship. Right? I mean, do you do that because you're worried about putting the super powerful alien on your flagship and you don't want him to see all the good stuff? Or okay, I don't know how we got to the Orville in the first place. Maybe they'll talk about that in the next episode, because there's got to be something coming,
Yeah, I mean, it could have been that maybe the captain, had to sign off on it and nobody else wanted to do it. It is kind of weird, and it probably seems like a long shot that they would even actually consider it. So they're like, whatever, he can come, be somewhere. I don't think anything he's going to see is going to sway them. Yeah,
Put him on a small lower level exploration ship and just go for
right.
it. Okay.
What I don't get is why they just turn Isaac off. Like, why don't they, send a recall signal or, you know, something? Because, unless their plan was, let's turn him off so they'll bring him back and then we can use their ship for something. But the whole point of the episode seems to be that they were not expecting them to show up and they were trying to decide what to do, how to adjust their plan now that, this Union ship is here.
So
So,
the only thing I can think of is his programming has obviously been affected by the Doctor, right?
sure.
What if he's getting too close to becoming something they didn't want anymore, so they killed it? You know what I mean?
Like Data, brother,
Yeah.
loyal brother.
He was getting too close to being a, feeling no longer following orders type of emissary.
Yeah.
And, he's sending the reports, right? So they got his last one and they just said, you know what, just don't go any further. You can just turn off until you get, we figure out what to do with you. And then he showed up on their doorstep. And so that's what they decided to do with him.
Yeah. I couldn't decide if I liked or disliked him being blue while everyone else is red. Like, I got that they probably wanted to be like, this is Isaac, and here's everyone else.
It's probably for the viewer benefit, right?
Right.
I am surprised that his eyes didn't turn red when he turned back into, evil mode.
Yeah, that's really what I expected. And I thought it would have been cool to really emphasize that, he is reintegrating. I'm sure they're appealing to a less hardcore science fiction fan base than like a true Star Trek would. So they probably want to keep it easy and be like, okay, the blue-eyed one is Isaac, even though that doesn't really make any sense.
Well, maybe he was the emissary model and not a warrior model, because they took apart his head before and didn't have cannons in there, presumably.
I mean, it all seems to like kind of unfold.
Yeah,
when the head cannon comes out. So, I was thinking, I immediately thought back to that scene when we see that, because it's like, oh, was that, was that folded up in there? Did we see it and miss it?
Yeah. So this is obviously the big fear of AI and robotics is eventually they'll decide that their creators are not worth keeping around anymore, and they're more of a pain than what their value.
Right.
It's an interesting take in that we've skipped over all the interesting parts when it actually happens, singularity, and we've just got to the end.
Yep.
So
everybody's dead.
Yeah, it just skip to the end, and there's piles of bodies, and why would we do anything else with them? They're fine there. No one's going to bother them.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting take on it to, like you said, zub past all that, inevitability, and then come in, when they encounter another race and say, okay, well, let's reevaluate. The fact that they even reevaluate is interesting, rather than just be like, okay, we are thoughtless machines and we are going to, you are clearly just like our creators and we're just going to obliterate you and take over. So, I mean, this has to end with Isaac turning the tide, right?
I mean, yeah, that's why he still has blue eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, they clearly backed themselves into a pretty serious corner here. And I'm like, oh, well, there's no way the biologicals are going to retake the situation without some kind of inside help.
And the only thing I can think of is, again, his programming is so far from where it started out that it's going to infect them, Hugh style, right?
Right.
And individuality or just different thinking is going to somehow save the day. We'll see. I mean, I'm just glad we get to watch the episode this week and not again.
Oh God, yeah. Right?
But wow, yeah.
Yeah.
As you said, it was crawling along, and then all of a sudden it turned, and yikes! It got awesome all of a sudden. That was fantastic.
Yeah. The thing I kept wondering was afterward, did Seth MacFarlane have this in his mind from the beginning?
According to his tweet, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like this would be something to set up from the beginning and not just, oh, let's just make him a bad guy, which is really because it's early enough that, because I don't know, if you did this in like season 5, it would be kind of like, what, the whole time?
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. It's only been a season and a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw 2. One that's yes, that was the plan for the beginning, and the second one was something like next week is going to be even more shocking. So enjoy.
I saw that one as well.
Yeah. So I was not expecting what we saw, and so I can't imagine what's going to happen next. Aside from our little prediction of Isaac obviously becoming the good guy again somehow.
The vague vague booking.
Yeah, exactly. So fun stuff. Looking forward to it, and man, I don't get to watch it until Friday, which means I probably won't get to watch it until Saturday because I got a game to run on Friday night. So, all right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I'm certainly this week, the anticipation factor, Orville wins out big time, despite the apparent final arrival of Spock tease.
Yeah, there was another thing going around was, okay, so if the Red Angel is really, as they hinted, a time traveler from the future, who is it? Because it's got to be someone we know, right?
I mean, it would certainly feel like a wasted opportunity if they didn't, but maybe somebody we've heard of.
Okay.
At least.
My favorite, I think I saw posted so far, was someone grafted Neelix's face on the Red Angel, and it was perfect because it was the right hue and everything. Okay. All right. Shall we move on to a better topic? I think I mentioned I sent out a bunch of regional kits. I sent out the first Masters kits. The kit that Ben's running on the East Coast should be in his hands by tomorrow. So that's awesome. I got these buttons to send out. The Masters, the Borg looking Trek Masters buttons.
Nice.
Play mats, the big gray play mats. I also had something. The Shattered Mirror release kits are out. So if you're a tournament director and you like the 2E cards, you can get the AI Claw, which is pretty good. Play his personnel if you command a maneuver event, score 5 points. He's got strength of 8. Another treachery Klingon guy for that deck. So good stuff. They're available for requisition, and I think the Tribbles kits briefly ran out because I miscounted, but they're back up as well. So good stuff.
Nice.
I don't know much what else we've got as far as Trek CCC news. CCC, I think I put an extra C in there.
I think you did.
All right. Anything else going on you know of?
Not that I'm aware of. I know we have scheduled regionals finally for Ryza.
Yes.
I think I will be there for 1E.
That's fantastic.
It off. So hopefully get to play one of the decks I built. I don't know if I'm going to continue with that crazy deck that is working on my own, but that seems not really a regional deck. But
how often do we play anymore? Play something fun, right?
It's just a tournament.
Yeah, I know.
That happens to be original.
I've got a deck put together that is terrible because it's one of my research decks, and I think it's going to go very poorly. But I something to play to see what a faction needs.
Yeah. Well, you can play that. Actually, I can't remember now. No, I think our regional is going to be before. No, our regional is after Masters. Masters is in March, and I think our regional is in April.
Yeah, that's right. It's the very end. All right. Well, either way, it'll be interesting. I hope to get to at least one or two of the events because we've got, the Stribbles and 1E. If I can get to 2E, I definitely will because it's been too long since I've sat down and played with everyone. That's the most important part.
Indeed.
All right. Last thing on my list to talk about is this game, this Fleet Commander game that I've been looking down and claiming 10-minute free chests on every 10 minutes because I'm still having a lot of fun with it. I still haven't paid anything. I'm still one of those dirty free-to-play players, but I'm up to level 19. I'm just grinding to get the last ore I need to level up to level 20, and I've been taking part in the event because I'm pro Romulan, and Romulan's been winning, so that's fantastic for the superiority boards. My alliance has been kind of churning through members. We got a few of the high-level players going to another one, but we've picked up a bunch of low-level players or mid-level players that are still just being active. So I've always got screens to help on and things to do, and I've been hitting my dailies just about every day. Just been it has been keeping my attention in that I've got things to go fight with my fighting ships, and I've got places to mine with my mining ships, and I can spend time just as it was before. I can spend time with my fighting ships, fighting things and gaining stuff, or I can just tell them all to go mine things and come back later. And as long as I found that as long as I don't go over my protected limit, which is, what the miners do, I haven't been even blown up a lot. So that's been pleasant. And when I have let them, you go mine over there for the night, and if I get blown up, that's fine. I'll still collect the majority of it. So that's been good for me. It sounded like there were words that were the opposite of that in your head when we briefly touched on it before the show. Have you?
Well, I'm still playing. I have not been as involved in it, I guess, just because I don't feel like there's as much I can do. I am level 18. I am very nearly maxed out on all of the research I can do and all of the building I can do.
Yeah.
I am hesitant to level up. I leveled to 18 kind of on a whim, and I supremely regretted it because I did not realize that there was actually, I don't know, I never tried to attack anybody that low, that there's an attack window plus or minus your level.
Yeah.
And as soon as I leveled to 18, that meant I could only attack people as low as 15. And a lot of the places I've been finding to mine are tons and tons of those level 14 players who are sitting at 14 and don't want to level up to 15 so that their bases can be attacked. So the number of level 14 players is a lot more prevalent, which means there's a lot more miners out there that I can't access. And there's a lot of 15s out there as well. I'm going through all of the quests that I have, and I've been doing a lot of them as much as I can, but inevitably, about 2/3 of them, I get to a point somewhere in the quest chain where it's like, okay, and now blow up this guy who is like triple your strength.
Yeah. My quest log is full of everything, as you said. This guy is 4 times your strength. This guy is 100 times your strength. And there's like, whoever wrote this quest clearly didn't intend it to be given out as early as I got it, or someone missed a digit somewhere, right? Because that's ridiculous. I mean,
so I don't. Yeah. So I don't know how to do that. I want. Part of me is like, well, maybe I'll sit here and level up my ships as far as I can. Max out my ship level instead of just my base level, which would be great. But like, I went farming. And just, all of my ships as much as they can fighting. And I'm like, I just did like 30 fights and I have 5 boxes. I can't get parts this way. Like if that's going to be the grind to get my ships up to a level where it's possible to play at the level of my starbase, I don't know how long I'm going to last.
Fair enough. I think it might have been around 18 that I started keeping notes about who was dropping what because I hit the same thing. I couldn't upgrade my ships because it wasn't getting the right plan or the right parts, explorer or battleship or whatnot.
Yeah.
It probably was luck that I backed into the jellyfish because that's what I've been using to attack with, and that's been keeping me just a little bit ahead of the curve. I think if I was still using my Tala or whatnot, I probably would not have been. It's an extra 5,000, right? That's the difference
Yeah, that's
between
huge. 'Cause
between
that's what I've
being
got
able to
right
defeat
now.
things for my daily quests and because I don't think I could do my daily quests if I didn't have it.
Yeah, I
Completing
can.
all those 19s. That's tough.
Yeah, I'm leveled out of that now.
Yeah. Um, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I wish that a couple things were true. I wish that you could jump servers because with all the churning, you sound like you would be a perfect match for the group that I'm in because you're active, which is all we really care about. And I wish that the resource trading wasn't some ridiculous level 50 thing that you could do. You know,
Yeah.
as soon as your base starts being able to be attacked, you should be able to trade resources with other players to minimize your threat level, right?
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense.
I mean, they did implement, and I saw it briefly, this thing where you could go to the store and you could spend a ridiculous amount of one resource to get a token, and that token sits in your inventory until you cash it back in again. So
Huh.
you can't be pilfered, pretty much. It turns into something
Uh,
that can't be stolen. It was something ridiculous, like a million or something like that. But that's if you buy any of the things, that's what you get. You get that $1 million chunk that you can't spend because you just can't. So I could see that, or also being a higher level thing. I mean, my stores are up to about a quarter of that, so I could see that being something I'd go for eventually. Uh, I've been hitting the dilithium cap, and I've been all my latinum has been going to cover the lithium that I don't have. But I've switched over to from mining whatever I was mining to mining the lithium, and it seems to be back to pretty good stores. Tell you, someone in my alliance found a base that had way too much in the way of resources and was like, "Hey, go hit it." And it looked like someone who hadn't logged in weeks because I hit them like 50 times with my jellyfish, just trying to break through. Every time was like a fraction, knocking down their ships. And 50 is an extreme. I think I hit 16 times, and I wasn't able to get through, so I gave up. If I level up my ship, I might go over there and see if they're still around. But I spent a lot of money, resources repairing my ship to try to get through that. Anyway, sorry you're not having as much fun as I am. It's easily the thing that's been running on my phone the most, and I check it way too often. In
yeah,
fact,
I mean, it definitely sounds like having the social aspect of it. I mean, I certainly feel like if I had somebody to help or people helping me, I would be much more interested in it. But I think let's see, last time I looked, I was pretty close to the top of
airlines.
my alliance, and that's not really.
That's not where you want to be, right?
No, that's not where I want to be. Power. Here we go. Oh yeah, I am 60,000 K. 60,000 K. I'm 60,000 power higher than the next highest
It's funny.
member of our.
We as I said, people keep changing and going in and out. My group has 59 of 62 right now, and I am probably at the last check. I'm at number 30. I'm right in the middle,
Wow.
at 450K or so. So uh, that's there's plenty of conversation going on in the group chat all the time. So I don't have to hang out in the Galaxy chat because that's just a waste of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Like we clearly have members. We're at 41 of 44,
Nice.
which is, a lot. But if you look at the power rankings, like I'm looking at the top five, I am at 379K and number 5 is 163K.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's one other person in the 300s. There's 2 people in 200s.
Yeah, we've got 4 over 1 million, and our lowest member is 131. There's nobody less than that.
Yeah, we have a ton of noobs. We must, including our admiral, who apparently doesn't play anymore at 6,000.
Man, I'll keep looking for that thing where you can jump servers as for one of the upgrades, because I know that there was a Trek group that wasn't available on my server.
Yeah, I couldn't.
That would be interesting. But you know, if I could tell you what server I'm on, so you can jump over. Hey, it's been 10 minutes. I would do that in a flash, just so that you could join up. But anyway, I guess that means we've talked about the game for 10 minutes. So
yeah, it's probably time to move on.
Yeah, probably time to move on. I'm having a good time. So I've been told that level 18 and 19 are the worst for the 2-star resources. Once you get past level 20, everything's 3-star. So you can use 2-star for all your ships and start leveling up your ships and not worrying about saving it for your station and everything. But yeah, that's mining and refining have been what's been taking up all my time pretty much. Okay. So 2 shows, briefly, the CCC and this. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right. We've got more episodes coming this week. We'll watch those. I've got I just keep turning over here and looking at this big pile of cards I got to put together. I got a bunch of Masters cards to assemble. So I'll be working on that this weekend and sending out more of the preview kits, the post preview kits, the Shattered Mirror from December of last year, and that other special project that some people will be seeing hopefully this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, very good.
Looking forward to hearing some reactions about that.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, then I think we can wrap it up.
All right, well, that's all the intelligence we have for this week. We'll have more Discoraville next week.
Discoraville, I like Discoraville, yeah.
Yeah. In addition to whatever else we can think about playing, maybe I'll still be playing this game. In the meantime, I am Sir Rogue.
And I'm Sir Dan.
And I will remind you all to expand your power in the universe.
And I will continue to draw